What up, world? Welcome to this episode of the Blunt Talk Quick Takes NBA Playoff Recap Edition. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful and comfortable confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, or subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the Blunt Talk Quick Takes exclusively out on Podbean. However, if you're looking to catch more content from the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast, you can definitely check the show out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, Patreon, and as well as on Trovo. I'm happy to be here with you guys. We're going to recap today the NBA playoff games from last night. We're going to recap the flame out by the Lakers being eliminated by the Timberwolves. Also, we're going to recap the Rockets destroying the Warriors. I'm definitely excited to be here for you on this May 1st, 2025. But before we get into that, guys, I want to recap again and definitely give a shout out to some friends of the show. The number one and number two leading ticket seller and reseller in the world, StubHub and Viagogo. I want to give those guys a shout out. If you're looking to get out this summer season in the U.S., I will have a creative ID link within the description of this video. Definitely take advantage of it if you can. We got the PGA Championship coming up May 15th through 18th. NBA playoffs, obviously recapping the playoffs in this episode, and the playoffs are in full swing. Definitely get a chance to check that out. And if you guys, ladies out there, Chris Brown fans, Beyonce fans, Lady Gaga, there's creative ID links for those tickets and tour dates too. And also, if you're an NHL fan, there's also a creative ID link that'll be in the description of this video. And for my UK subscribers, if you're looking to get to the Primavera Sound in Barcelona, Spain, June 5th through the 7th, I'll have the creative ID link there. The Glastonbury Festival from June 25th through 29th in Pilsen, Somerset, England. Definitely will have that available as well. And as well as the Montreux Jazz Festival in Montreux, Switzerland, July 25th. Exact dates are yet to be announced. Creative ID link will be in the description as well. So again, definitely check that out, guys, if you're looking forward to that. Also, if you're into, if you're into playing Sony PlayStation like I am myself, or you're a big gamer, definitely don't forget to check out Sony PlayStation Direct. That link will be in the description of this video as this podcast as well. Once, I started playing PlayStation in 1996, I became fully addicted. I've never stopped playing. So it's definitely a great part to be an affiliate with Sony PlayStation Direct. But again, the link will be in the description of the video. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. Getting into this episode, guys, we're going to recap first the Lakers completely flaming out to the Minnesota Timberwolves, losing 103-96. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves for that closing out that series last night and getting a huge win to start the first round of the playoffs for them. What a series. What a game. It was kind of a weird game. Minnesota did not shoot well by any stretch of the imagination. Los Angeles started out very cold. So it was very kind of awkward to start, but you got to put the blame on the Lakers for how they played. If you were to tell me that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to shoot as a team 14.9%, essentially 15% from three, 7 for 47, if you were going to tell me that, I would honestly tell you that the Lakers would win possibly by 20. But when you have their stars not showing up in the first half, you got Luka and LeBron, having disappearing acts, looking like R. Kelly at Madison Square doing those tours with Jay-Z. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And then, you compound that with the fact that, you only got 15 points from Anthony Edwards. The Lakers definitely blew this game. The Lakers tried to get a spark in the second half along with, with LeBron and Hachimura trying to get things going. Hachimura, credit to him, he did have 23 points. He was 5 of 8 from three-point range. But essentially, it was kind of too little too late. It was always a fight and a struggle for the Lakers throughout the night. And again, the difference for the Timberwolves wasn't really the shooting because the shooting wasn't there. It was Rudy Gobert. The Lakers decided to play a smaller lineup, which, I guess JJ Redick thought that was going to be more advantageous to what they wanted to do. It did not work. It went horribly wrong. Rudy Gobert scored 27 points, 24 rebounds, and shot 80% from the field. JJ Redick is going to definitely be questioned a lot. His coaching decisions going into the offseason are going to definitely be heavily scrutinized from having all these guys play for the first time in NBA playoff history, a whole game without really any substitutions. And then, going to this lineup switch that he did and even how he handled that pregame presser yesterday. It was just a lot that, JJ Redick didn't handle right. Hopefully he learns from it. Hopefully he realizes that, you're a young, you're a young coach. You're going to make mistakes. Nonetheless, you got to realize that you made some bonehead decisions that cost your team this series. I'm pretty sure that's probably why he was tight before the game. I'm pretty sure he realized he cost his team this series, but it was pretty evident. But hopefully for him, it's lessons learned. It was even funnier, a post-game news conference with LeBron. I saw a short on ESPN where a news reporter had asked LeBron if what do they think changes need to be made for this team to get back into championship contention. And LeBron, I said LeJon, jokingly, LeBron said that it was going to take, he wasn't going to comment on that because when his dog AD had spoke on this, a week later he was traded. So he has no comment on that. LeBron's going to say he's going to suit up and play and do what's required. The reality of the situation is LeBron's not lying. AD wasn't lying when he was there. They need a third option. Luka has to work on his defense. I mean, he made Nico Harrison look like a fucking genius last night. The way that defensive performance was, and Luka may never be a stalwart on defense, but he has to give a better performance than what he gave last night. It was just terrible. That performance he gave defensively. But ultimately, they have to grab a third scoring option, whether it's defensive scoring whether it's a guy that could score and play defense, or he's just a defensive scoring option. However, it may work. It needs to happen because it is dire that type of player helps Luka LeBron out because they're not going to win shit in the Western Conference with that bench that they have and the role players they have around them. It's a very weak roster. The Lakers front office has gotten away with they stole the thunder with the Luka trade and Rob Pelinka, he got the pat on the back quietly, got that extension, and nobody was looking. But, chickens have come on the roost and now the Lakers are out and the roster is going to be definitely scrutinized again going into another offseason. So a lot of questions for the Lakers to answer, but their season is done. More credit to the Timberwolves. After shooting horribly and playing horribly for a majority of the game, being able to find a way to pull it out and keeping the Lakers at bay for most part. So we're going to go on to the second game, which I must admit, this one shocked the hell out of me because I just automatically assumed like, okay, all right, Warriors closeout game, veteran team, they got these young guys on the ropes. They're going to push the pedal to the metal. They're going to show these young guys how you close the team out. And that was not what the fuck happened at all by any stretch of the imagination. The Warriors were dismantled 131 to 116. The starting unit just was cold. I mean, colder than fucking, the last ice age. I mean, it was just bad. Bad. You have to really look at it from this standpoint. Steph Curry had 13 points. Moses Moody had 25. That should give you an indication of how bad it was for the Warriors last night. They look sluggish. They look like and I could be wrong, but looking at it last night, it looked like a team that was trying to fill the game out at first, and then it got away from them. And then it seemed like Steve Kerr made a decision by third quarter, like, yeah, fuck this game. Don't really care what happens. We'll play for the next one, which I think was the right decision ultimately in the end because you have an older team and you know that you didn't close it out last night. The rest was going to be very limited. So these next couple games, this next game or next few games potentially are going to be vital. So definitely understood where Steve Kerr was coming from with that. However, all that being said, much credit to the Houston Rockets for the energy they came out with. They had all the energy and fight. It looked like a team fighting for their life as they were, but they definitely exuded that. So I want to give them credit. Amen Thompson, high draft pick several years ago, developed into a great player. He had an outstanding game, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and was 1 of 1 from three-point range. I love the way he played last night. He got to the basket at will, play played aggressive defense. If he continues to play like that, the Rockets will have a chance. They'll definitely have a chance to go far in this postseason. However, one thing that I do feel there's a potential Achilles heel for Amen Thompson is he's going to have to play with better emotional intelligence. He had to be reined in at several points by Dillon Brooks and Alperen Sengun. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But if he can rein in that aggression and play with a controlled chaos, the Rockets are going to be hard to defeat. But the key, really, I felt like for this series, the real X factor for Houston has been Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks, I'm not really a huge fan of Dillon Brooks. I will say that. So me saying this, I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Dillon Brooks has been continuing to play like this for this whole series, for this Houston team for most of the series. And if he continues to play like he did these past 2 games, Houston, well, especially this last game, Houston will have a chance. He had 24 points, 2 rebounds. Now, he was only 2 of 7 from 3, but he played with an edge, a toughness, and an aggressiveness that was needed. He's not consistent enough to play like this all the time, so I'm very wary. But seeing how he played, if he can continue this, the Rockets have a chance, But in my personal opinion, what I thought was a bit startling was You're up by 20 plus points. Rocket starters are out. You got pretty much the game in hand. And the second unit almost brought this team back. Valiant effort by the second unit of the Golden State Warriors. So not really sure what to make of that. Basketball's a game of runs. It could mean anything, but I think it's very indicative of the Warriors knowing that at any point they're never out of a game, especially against this young team. So in my opinion, I do think the Warriors will close the series out in San Francisco. The only way they won't is if Houston could keep up this pace and shooting rate that they got, because make no doubt about it, Van Fleet has definitely come alive. He had 26 points. He was 4 of 6 from three-point range. You want to go a bit further, Jalen Green is definitely ascending now. He had a weird, like, wonky knee injury that sidelined him for a little bit. He did continue the game, but he definitely wasn't as explosive as he normally is. He only had 11 points, however. He was 2 of 4 from three. And again, Tari Eason, he played well. He only had 9 points, but he played well in the role that he played. Aaron Holiday had 9 points. So again, you had guys doing what they needed to do, doing what was required. I just feel like ultimately Houston has a better roster, all, top to bottom. Obviously, Golden State has Jimmy, Steph and Draymond. So that's better than, historically resume-wise than what Houston has. But youth, energy, aggressiveness, the edge is going to Houston. However, I do feel that the veteran savvy and experience, something I've talked about on various episodes detailing the NBA playoffs this year especially, I do feel like veteran experience is going to come to play. I do feel like that's going to be the deciding factor for this series and for the Golden State Warriors to close this out in San Francisco. That's going to do it for NBA news, guys. It's one of the shorter episodes. Like I said, it's going to be a quick take. So I'm trying to make these a little bit quicker. It's so much information that comes out. So it's a lot of jam-packed things that I try to make sure that I'm condensing and getting in there. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoy your day. Continue to be safe wherever you are, home, work, or out relaxing. Again, continue to plug in. I'll have more playoff content coming, and be safe.